So this is going to be the explanation video I mentioned before, covering each of the working features that we have available at this point in the story of 1.0. I have the playlist up, and in each video there's like a synopsis of the quest. If you want to read that, as I promised, here's the TLDR list for people who just want to tell their friends this works. Well, this is what I assume most people care about, which would be the multiplayer and leveling and things like that. I noted here, pub's lower cap. If you play on a public server, like DDoN server, I think is 80 or 85, and Rising is 90, so it has a lower level cap. This is how far you need to get in the story to unlock these things, and you have to do the personal quest to get multiplayer. So if your friend says that they did this quest, they should be able to play, and they didn't do this, call them retarded. As for the specifics of what we're going to go over, I have it all here in timestamps so you can look at it. The first thing I want to go over will be the non-quest related objects, but I'll leave this on screen so you can quickly look over it, and hopefully it won't be blurry and easily visible on this widescreen video. So like I said, I first want to go over what's not quest related but works, which would be the salon. If you want to redo your character at any point in time, you can go ahead and do that. The mail system, if you have an error and need to have an item given to you by GM, would work. Clan hall, when you unlock teleporting, you can favorite a spot to reduce the cost. Gathering, consumables, potions, your lantern, friends list, and maybe more things I'm missing, but I don't think I am. So for the rest of the video, we'll go over everything here, and I'll just go through each video in the back, and that's be it. So the first thing we'll go over would be, well, NPC dialogue and assistant AI. Here they're not moving, but later they will be because they're just going through their cycle. But the first thing that's actually shown off will be in the very, very beginning. Is your passport. In the game, passports used to be like a paid system in which you have storage available to you in areas outside of the main zone or the Arisen room, or double XP or quest rewards doubled. These were all paid features. Currently, they're all made available for free, and a majority of them are active all at once as a test course. If you yourself host, you can remove them at any time. They're not forced to be on, and you can shut them off or add more at any point in time at your own discretion. If you play on a public server, they have their own settings, so you have to deal with what they have. And then, like I said, the AI will assist you in combat. Here you can see that Iris and Leo have ran ahead and started fighting the goblin, or the orc, excuse me. And later throughout the video, there's more and more AIs throughout the area just helping you, the fights and whatnot. So that's the main thing there, and you'll see the dialogue in the chat. The next thing would be quest banners and tutorial prompts, which is here. So before, there was no quest at all, but once there were, we had to figure out these banners because they were all incorrect. They all have different codes for some reason. So a quest would say like discovered when it's not, or it would say accepted when it's not, things like that. So banners now work, and they're specifically given for the quest type that they're available for. Main quest would have the red banners, personal quest would have the green banners, and world quest would have blue banners. You'll have your priority shown automatically, saying like what you're working on. If you have no priority, you can assign priority if you have multiple quests. And I don't do it in this video. Also, here's the tutorial prompts. There are many throughout the game. You'll get them as you play when you meet certain criteria. That criteria is being more refined, but should be pretty accurate to when it was in live. As far as when you get them, they should make sense. You should get a sorcerer tutorial when you're playing sorcerer, things like that. But one thing I did not do in this video, you'll see Fabio has a chat message. He says, walk alongside me. If you actually do walk alongside him, the chat will be filled with dialogue from Fabio. He'll just be giving you a tour of the city. As he walks, I think I show one example here. See, he'll say certain lines, and they're all translated in English if you update yours. You can skip this because the first personal quest that he gives will basically be the same thing, in which you just tour the city. But if you wanted some flavor text and see what his personality might be, you can let him spam your chat. Next thing will be quest requirements. So once you finish the tutorial, you're immediately given a quest requirement right away, in which would be the personal quest, the Arisen's abilities. Before there were no quest requirements, as quests were pretty broken, let's say, and the structure was not fully sound for them, but everything has gone a lot more further in progress, and many things that would a soft lock and break have slowly getting ironed out, so there's a good thing there. If you enter a quest that has a red marker or cross symbol, it'll say in red bold text what the requirement is, so you'll never be questioning why you can't do a quest. It tells you, if someone tells you that they can't do the quest, call them retarded. Next thing, through Fabio's personal quest, he'll ask you to meet Archibald in dialogue. Archibald is the vocation and skills NPC. You cannot change your skills until you start this personal quest, into which he has you assign one yourself. And the assignment is just here. When you start your class, you only have one. The side quests are still in Japanese, but that's just because my translation is old. I think 2 days before this video date, the translation was recently updated to have side quests given English dialogue. So throughout the season 1 video, you'll see they're all in Japanese, but if you update yours, it should have it there. Speaking with Fabio once more, he's next to the board. Quest boards are a type of personal quest, I suppose, but they do also work now. They're functional and they will give out the proper reward for the area you're in. You can pick deliveries or hunts. There's 2 types. Also, clans will also have deliveries and hunts for clan quests. Ignore the chat I'm trying to do. I accept the Killer Bee quest here. And when I go to hunt the Killer Bee, you'll see through the minimap, the very top right, hopefully it's visible, quest marked enemies, whether they're main quests, side quests, world quests, have specific markings for them. So world quest enemies will be blue, red for main, and green for personal, much like the banner system. And once you finish Fabio's tutorial quest, you accept your first quest reward. That is when you have the storage boxes where you accept all your quest rewards. I'll have an example here. After you finish Fabio's quest, you can finally teleport. But not prior, you had to run everywhere until you finish this one quest and speak with him once more. That's pretty much all the unlocks for this video. Moving on to Envoy of Reconciliation. See, now the requirement is gray or black, as in the requirement is cleared and you can continue. The one thing that is shown in this video are stage elements, that being props or ready checks, NPCs found in open areas that are normally not there. So here, these NPCs would normally not be there, as that they are part of the quest. They will be now. And this ready check, if you are playing multiplayer, all players must interact with this object to proceed to the next video or cutscene or area, depending on what the quest will be doing at this point in time. If you're playing with more people and you can't continue, your friend is not pressing the button. You'll just walk up and interact with the object. The circle will expand, and then a second ready check will commence the cutscene. Sure, I do that. Hopefully. Yeah, see here. And if you're in a party, it'll show your player symbol as being in event, so players know you're watching something. Tell, the village of Tell is the first port crystal you find and unlock. You simply walk up to them and register by interacting. And now you can teleport to this location at any time, so long as you have rift crystals. Those are the two things you get in this video. As for Soldiers of the Rift, the prerequisites are none, and the one thing you get is the Area Master. You see where he's at. So the Area Master will open up a new spot for you. As you rank up areas in the game, the world will progressively get harder. In more modern MMOs, enemies level sync with you, so if you're level 5, a Bumblebee will be level 5. But in this game, as you level the areas, you have more access to difficult dungeons, or a new creature will enter the zone and it'll be a higher level. I think in this tail area, highest level enemies are around 30 for the overworld and 50 for dungeons, so there's quite a large range of enemy variety, even in the starter zones, so long as you upgrade the areas. When you have area points and you meet the area master and speak with him, he'll have his own dialogue and he'll level up your area for you. He'll tell you what he opens, what dungeons are available, or what new enemies have appeared, if you don't check your area listings. So I do check the area listings in this video. You'll see here that unblocks this dungeon, new enemy at this area, unblocks this dungeon, new path created, things like that. You'll just collect points from doing quests in this zone, whether green or blue, does not matter. And then you'll speak to the area master and he'll have, at every certain rank, like in this one it will be 5 for example, and some it's 4. Progression will be halted until you complete his area quest, which is signified with his green marker. And it'll be typically a powerful enemy for your level at that time, unless you overlevel. And once you complete it, you can just continue on increasing the difficulty in this area. This is the main unlock for this video. And here are the spots. Spots are the dungeons. If they're locked, it's because the AR is too low. Simply raise it. A lot of the spots will have the requirement in the description, as well as the reward. So that's pretty much how that goes there. Excuse me. Crimson Crystal, or Servant's Pledge, is where you get your first pawn and unlock party play. Party play in the sense that you have pawns, not multiplayer. Multiplayer is a separate quest. But you'll talk to Missio throughout the main story and give her the Riftstone. You'll create your pawn. I just use a preset that I have. Give her a voice. Give her a class. And at this point I have party play. That is how it works. Not multiplayer, but party play. And once you finish the prerequisite quest for Crimson Crystals, being the ones in the next video, that is reliable source of information from Seneca, and crafted token of the heart through Iris, then you have multiplayer. So through her quest, you'll see all the unlocks here. Party play with other players in parentheses. That is the important thing to know. If your friend asks you why he cannot play with you, lead him to this. Tell him this is why. Extreme missions and grand missions are also unlocked here. So currently there are no level 15 grand missions, even though there was in live. That'll be added later. There are grand missions and extreme missions, but they're just for high level players. Her quest is just to do one world quest. So you'll meet with the Tell Area Master, complete an area quest in the zone. Here you can see me doing the hotbar. You can do this at any point in time. But you can set shortcuts to items, you can set shortcuts to menus, you can set shortcuts to pawn commands, which I'll do in a different video. And so that's just her quest, to do one world quest and speak to Alfred. Again, I just show off the area master spot list and unlock list. That's pretty much it. Crafted token of the heart with Iris will unlock crafting. We'll also unlock the Arisen room. And when you unlock the Arisen room, you'll have pawn training. I already have a video for crafting and for the Arisen room. I'll release them after I release this one. Or if they're already released and this one's not out, then I just did it out of order. Doesn't really matter. But she'll have you go out and make a ring for Mayleaf. And once you turn that ring into Mayleaf, you will return to the room, speak with Iris, and then you can rent pawns also for crafting. Or if you only have one pawn, so you have not done the pledge quest, or not the pledge requirement. Let me rephrase this. At this point in the story, you can rent pawns, now that you can craft. Also, at this point in the story, you can acquire your second pawn through the quests themselves. So when Iris issues her quest, the reward is Bristol, a Riftstone, I believe. Let's see. This one here. These crystals, once you collect 10, you can create a new pawn. You can have 2 in the beginning, after finishing this one, of course. And the third one you'll unlock through the Dragon Force tree, which is covered at the very end of this video. But like I said, for her, crafting, rentals, your Arisen room, pawn training, all that will all be done through this. Next thing will be covered is going to be the sub teleports. So there's those large crystal stones in main areas like Tel that has a large stone. And throughout these areas, you'll see on the minimap a smaller crystal symbol. These crystals are like intermediates to like closer zones. It'll be close to a quest, close to a dungeon, stuff like that. And you have to clear the zone of enemies to unlock the crystal, which is why I kill the trash here. Then you'll run up and register it. You can also register these as favorites and they'll have reduced cost. But now if I ever wanted to teleport to Gritton Fort, since Gritton Fort has no main crystal, I could use that one, for example, to run closer. Then when you enter Gritton Fort, you'll meet Vanessa. Here's another port crystal example. Vanessa is the first job master you meet, but not the first one that's available. Job masters, which I said I'm not covering job training in the very beginning. Job masters issue you your class level up quest or skills. So in the game, the level cap for a skill is 6. And then when you do your job training through Vanessa, you can then increase the cap of the ability to 7, to 8, all the way up to 10. 10 being the cap for any given skill in the game. And the kill quest will just be whatever she issues you as a hunt. You'll complete that, return to her, speak with her, and she'll level up your skill. She's not the first job master you can speak to, but she's the first one you meet in the story, at the very least. And then I accidentally cut out the cutscene. The cutscene is here if you wanted to watch it. When I enter the dungeon that she asked you to get to, it mentions shortcuts, which I already did for my hotbar. So instead I do shortcuts for the pawns. There's a pawn order menu entry, and there's 4 pages of pawn orders you can go through. Pick and choose your preference, depending on situation or enemy type, party composition, or element preference. There's really so many things you can do with pawn commands. You can control pretty much anything that they do at any time in the fight. It's really powerful if you use it properly, but it's not a requirement or a mandatory by any means. It's really just a preference system. Going down the dungeon, you meet the Cyclops. Normally has a purple HP bar, but I think something we did remove the purple HP bars. But this is a blood orb enemy. Blood orbs are a type of upgrade currency in the game that is like a count system upgrade. So it'll be max health, max damage, max stamina, max magic, defenses, augment points. You collect these orbs, and then you'll feed them to the blood. You'll feed them to the white dragon after completing this quest. So you just kill this guy, bash his head with your door, and you are awarded blood orbs. 300 for the tutorial. Normally it's not this much for such a low level enemy. As you complete the quest, you're given the tutorial for blood augmentation, dragon force augmentation, given blood orbs. Speak with the white dragon. This will be the first option. Pick your character or pick your pawn, depending on who you're upgrading. The center row will be for max level. So once you hit 15, 30, 40, example. And the rows to the left and the right are what you spend the blood orbs on. They begin very low, and at the last tree, they are like 500 to 1,000 each, I think. So the requirements ramp up very quickly. But like I said, this is global account power, as in max stats, so I think the cost is worthwhile. This is only the first system of blood orb augmentation, but this is probably the most impactful one of all of them. Those are all the unlocks for this video. The next unlock, I think, is in, or not unlock, but feature. It's in Dogma Arc, which would be key enemies and key doors. In the past, we've had a lot of issues with these, and some spots I think are still empty, may not be. But a key enemy is an enemy literally with a key above their head. There's also this enemy that spawns enemies, but that's another separate system. It's not relevant here. So you'll see these skeletons and goblins have keys. On the minimap, very hard to see, but there's a locked door. And simply wiping out all the enemies will fill the requirement for the door. This wolf is jumping me. Let's see. So here's the last wolf. So you'll receive a chat message or a blue system message, and the door will begin to open on its own. The visibility of the door is physical in the way that if it's slightly cracked, you can jump through the crack. You don't have to wait for the entire door to open and fully. If it's like a double door which opens inwards, as soon as there's a little crack, you can just run through the crack if you want. That's pretty much it for this video, really. And then Girl in the Forest. Nothing specifically is unlocked here, but finishing this quest gives you a personal quest for Glamour or transmog in the game. Different games call it different things. But if you want to look less like shit, finish this quest and then do the Glamour quest that's found in the center of the plaza. And then you can look less like shit. You'll still look like shit. The last final thing, or Season 1.0 at least, would be the second tier of Dragon Force Augmentation. The main story, if you want to watch, feel free. The White Dragon is less petrified and has more access to his power. And you, in turn, being the Arisen, have more access as well. So here's the completion screen. And when you speak with White Dragon, after the prologue is considered, you can then use the second tier of the Blood Orb tree. Here's tier 2. And again, increased costs, but it's account power, so I believe it's worthwhile. That's fairly... I think that's it for everything, yeah. So again, this is just for Season 1.0, and this format is an easier way of recapping everything that's out. Here, again, is timestamps, if you're interested. I will continue doing the story and discussing unlocks as they come out. Like, job training had come out whilst I was making this, so I'll make a separate video after this one, specifically just for job training. And that video will show the personal quest, an example of a hunt, completion of a hunt, and then leveling up the skill. It's just going to be that. It won't be long. That'll be it for this one. More things do work. You can always ask in the Discord if there's anything that I didn't cover or anything I missed. You can comment and I'll maybe get to. I usually don't, but we'll see. The Discord is in the channel description somewhere here. Join that if you care. If you don't, unlucky. That'll be it for this. I'll keep this going, like I said. 1.0 was much longer than I imagined, but 1.1 and 1.2 are much shorter, so look forward to that. See you guys.